What if I told you that an ancient end-time prophecy is revealing what's really happening in our world, right now, from a mysterious hand writing doom on a palace wall, to terrifying visions of rising empires and a final kingdom, to a prophet trembling before a glowing heavenly messenger with secrets about Earth's last days. This is the book of Daniel's end-time prophecies, unfolding now, unexpectedly. Stay until the end, because a mysterious prophecy could change everything you thought you knew about the future. And what happens next will leave you shocked. Ripped from his home, forced to serve a ruthless king. But one bold choice sets off a chain of events leading to earth-shaking prophecies. What happens next could change everything, including our time. Our story starts in the kingdom of Judah, overshadowed by the might of Babylon. King Nebuchadnezzar lays siege to Jerusalem, capturing the city and carrying away the brightest young men. Among these exiles is Daniel, a teenager torn from home and thrust into the glittering but idolatrous Babylonian court. Everything I knew is gone, my home, my family, my people, taken. And now, here I stand, in the heart of Babylon, where gods of gold and power rule. But I will not forget, I will not bow. The God of Israel is still my God, and I am still his. He might seem like a mere captive, but Daniel is guided by an unwavering devotion to the God of Israel. Keep watching, because this quiet determination to honor God will shape the fate of kings and unlock prophecies that still intrigue us today. Daniel and his friends, known by their Babylonian names, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, are offered the finest foods and wines from the king's table. It's a test of loyalty to Babylon's customs. But Daniel refuses to defile himself, politely requesting only vegetables and water. Just a meal, they say. Just a cup of wine, they insist. But if I bow to Babylon in this, where will it end? I serve a greater king. My body, my mind, my soul, they belong to him alone. This might seem like a small stand, but it's actually a moment of great courage. Defying the king's direct provisions could have led to severe punishment, yet God honors their faith. After a short trial, Daniel and his friends appear healthier than all the others, so they're allowed to continue their simple diet. From this act of obedience, Daniel begins to find favor, proving that true faith can thrive even in the heart of an oppressive empire. Daniel's first victory is only the beginning. Soon, King Nebuchadnezzar will be tormented by a dream that no wise man can interpret, except Daniel. Keep watching to see how this dream unveils a prophetic timeline of global empires, including a final kingdom destined to last forever. You won't want to miss how Daniel's interpretation shakes the entire kingdom and sets the stage for an even greater revelation. The king of Babylon is terrified. A mystery dream haunts him. He demands the impossible. His wise men must reveal the dream and its meaning, or die. No one can, except Daniel. But what if this dream is more than a warning? What if it reveals the fate of empires and the rise of a kingdom that will never fall? Stay tuned. This prophecy is about to shake history. King Nebuchadnezzar wakes from a horrific dream, deeply disturbed. He summons all his magicians, astrologers, and enchanters. But here's the twist. He refuses to tell them the dream. They must first state what he dreamt, then explain it, or face death. Panic spreads through the royal court. No one can do this. Then Daniel, hearing of the king's deadly decree, prays to the God of heaven. That same night, the mystery is revealed to Daniel in a vision. Come morning, Daniel stands before the king with calm assurance, ready to recount both the dream and its meaning. This is beyond me. No man can see into another's dreams, but I know the one who can. My God is a revealer of mysteries, and if I stand before the king, I do not stand alone. Daniel describes a colossal statue. Its head is gold, its chest and arms are silver, its belly and thighs are bronze, its legs are iron, its feet are iron, mixed with clay. Suddenly, a rock cut without human hands strikes the statue's feet, shattering the entire image. The fragments blow away like dust in the wind, and the rock grows into a mountain that fills the earth. The king is stunned. This matches his dream exactly. Daniel explains, the golden head is Babylon itself, representing Nebuchadnezzar's empire. After it will come another kingdom, silver, the powerful Medo-Persian Empire, then bronze, the swift and dominant empire of Greece, then iron, the mighty rule of Rome. Finally, the feet of iron mixed with clay signify divided kingdoms, partly strong, partly weak. But in the end, the rock, symbolizing God's eternal kingdom, will destroy all these earthly powers and stand forever. This prophecy maps out centuries of world history and, some believe, extends to the final stage of human rule. It declares that no matter how mighty earthly empires become, they will all ultimately yield to God's unshakable reign. Kingdoms rise, kingdoms fall, but the mountain remains. This is the promise, the certainty. God's kingdom is coming, and when it does, nothing will stand against it. Nebuchadnezzar promotes Daniel and acknowledges his God. But next we'll see how Daniel's 3 friends face a furnace so hot it kills the soldiers who throw them in, and how the same God who reveals dreams can also deliver from the most extreme dangers. Keep watching for a thrilling showdown that proves who really holds the power of life and death. A golden idol stands tall and imposing. A king's command echoes across the land, bow or burn. But 3 men defy the order, choosing faith over fear, even if it means stepping into the raging flames. Will they survive the inferno? And could this moment foreshadow future trials for all who refuse to compromise their faith? Stay tuned for one of the most powerful rescue stories in history. Nebuchadnezzar's pride swells as he unveils a towering gold statue gleaming in the sun. The decree is clear: bow or die. At the sound of the royal music, thousands fall to their knees, but 3 men remain standing. The crowd bows low, but we will not. We serve the living God, not an idol of gold and pride. The king can take our lives, but he can't take our faith. We stand, even if we stand alone. The king's face darkens with rage. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are dragged before him. Bow now or burn, he roars. But their reply is unshaken. Our God is able to save us. But even if he doesn't, we will never worship your idol. Furious, Nebuchadnezzar orders the fire 7 times hotter. The heat is so intense that even the soldiers who approach perish in the flames. The 3 men are bound and thrown into the inferno. The king leans forward, expecting to hear screams of agony. But instead, what is this? They were bound, yet now they walk freely in the fire? And wait, there were 3 men, but now there are 4? His eyes widen in shock. Did we not throw 3 men into the flames? I see 4, and the 4th looks like a son of the gods. The impossible has happened. The flames burn the ropes, but not the men. The king shouts into the flames, "Come out, servants of the Most High God." To everyone's astonishment, they walk out, untouched. No burns, no pain, not even the smell of smoke. This is beyond my power. This is beyond the gods of Babylon. This is the work of the Most High. I thought I ruled the world, but today I have seen the one who truly reigns." The king falls to his knees and declares to the nation, "No other God can save like this." This unshakable faith has changed a king and a kingdom. But the story doesn't end here. Next, we'll see how the same king who just praised Daniel's God will be brought to his knees, this time not by fire, but by madness. Stay tuned for the shocking downfall of the most powerful ruler on earth. A king at his peak, a warning ignored, a fall like no other. What happens when the most powerful man on earth refuses to bow before God? Watch as pride turns to madness and a ruler becomes a beast. This moment changes history and sets the stage for Babylon's fall. King Nebuchadnezzar is restless. One night he dreams of a towering tree, so vast it touches the sky, its branches stretching to the ends of the earth. Birds nest in its limbs, beasts gather beneath it. It is a symbol of power, prosperity, and dominion. Yes, this must be me. My kingdom is unmatched. My rule is secure. I have built Babylon the Great. But why do I feel uneasy? Suddenly a heavenly voice booms from above. Cut it down, strip the branches, scatter the beasts, but leave the stump, bound in iron and bronze, until the king learns who truly rules. The king awakens terrified. None of his advisors can explain it. But then Daniel is summoned. Daniel stares at the king silently. His face pales. The meaning is clear, but how can he tell the mightiest ruler on earth what is about to happen? "O king, I wish this dream were for your enemies, not for you. But I must speak the truth, even if it means your wrath." Finally, Daniel speaks. "O king, the tree is you. Your power is mighty, your kingdom glorious, but you have not humbled yourself before God. You will be driven from society. You will live like a beast. You will eat grass like an ox and roam the wilderness until you acknowledge that heaven rules." The room falls silent. The king's eyes narrow, but he says nothing. The warning has been given, but will he listen? A year passes. The warning fades. Nebuchadnezzar stands on his palace roof, gazing at the city of gold below. "Is this not Babylon the Great?" he proclaims. "Built by my power, for my glory. Look at what I have achieved. No kingdom rivals mine. No God has brought me this far. I have done it myself." But before he can finish his boast, a voice from heaven thunders, "O King Nebuchadnezzar, your kingdom has been taken from you." Instantly, his mind shatters. His pride turns to madness. He is driven from the palace, his clothes torn, his eyes wild. He crawls into the wilderness. His hair grows like eagle's feathers, his nails like claws. The once great king now roams the fields like an animal. He eats grass like cattle. He lives under the open sky. Days turn to months, months into years. Babylon whispers, "What happened to our king? Is this the end of his reign?" 7 years pass. The man who was a king among men is now a beast among animals. But then, something changes. How long have I been like this? Have I been forgotten? Have I been abandoned? For the first time in years, he lifts his eyes to heaven. "O God Most High, you alone are King. Your dominion is forever." At that moment, his sanity returns. His pride is broken, but his heart is whole. He returns to Babylon, but not as before. He is humbled. He stands before his people and declares to the world, "Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise the King of heaven. All his ways are just. He alone humbles the proud." The once arrogant king is now a witness to the glory of God. But Babylon's story isn't over. The city that once housed the proudest king on earth is about to face judgment. A hand will appear, a message will be written, and an empire will fall in one night. stay tuned to witness the eerie scene of a ghostly hand writing on the wall, and how Daniel's interpretation triggers the fall of Babylon itself. A royal feast, golden goblets raised, Babylon's elite drunk on power, until a mysterious hand appears. It carves cryptic words into the palace wall. And in that single moment, Babylon's fate is sealed. What does it mean? And how does this one event bring down an empire overnight? Stay with me, because when God writes judgment, no kingdom stands. Belshazzar, ruler of Babylon, likely the grandson of Nebuchadnezzar, throws a grand feast, drowning in arrogance. He orders the sacred vessels from Jerusalem's holy temple, objects meant for worshipping God, to be used in a drunken toast to his false gods. He throws a lavish banquet, filling his palace with nobles, concubines, and wine. And then, it happens. A hand appears, floating, moving, writing. The cryptic words burn into the plaster of the palace wall. Mene, mene, tekel, parsin. Terror spreads like wildfire. The king's face turns pale, his hands tremble, his knees knock together. No one can interpret the message. Not the astrologers, not the enchanters, not the wisest men in Babylon. Then, an unexpected voice breaks the chaos. The Queen Mother steps forward, her face etched with memory. She recalls a man, a prophet. There is one man who can reveal secrets no other can. A man who once stood before your grandfather, Nebuchadnezzar. His name is Daniel. Daniel enters, calm, unshaken. He refuses the king's bribes and gifts. Instead, he delivers a warning, King Belshazzar. You knew how Nebuchadnezzar was humbled, how God made him like a beast, until he recognized heaven's authority. But you did not learn. You have mocked the Lord of heaven, and now his judgment is here. Then Daniel speaks the meaning of the words. Nay, God has numbered your kingdom's days and finished it. Tekel, you have been weighed in the balances and found lacking. Peres, your kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. Belshazzar laughs it off, but his eyes betray his fear. By sunrise, he will know the prophecy is no empty threat. That very night, Babylon falls. Outside the city walls, the Mede-Persian army waits. A fatal mistake. The river gates are left unguarded. Under the cover of darkness, the army sneaks in. By sunrise, the once great Babylon is no more. Belshazzar is dead. And just like that, the golden head of Nebuchadnezzar's statue crumbles, replaced by the chest and arms of silver. But what becomes of Daniel in this new empire? Will he remain loyal to God when jealous officials conspire to destroy him? Next, see how Daniel's unwavering faith puts him at odds with a deadly royal decree. Watch as he is thrown into the lion's den, a test of faith, a den of hungry lions, a night that could end in death, or reveal God's power like never before. Don't miss it. A king's favor, a deadly plot, a den of hungry lions. King Darius trusts Daniel more than any other, so much so that he plans to set him over the entire realm. But power breeds jealousy. A group of envious officials craft a trap, a law that makes Daniel's faith a crime. The punishment? Death by lions. Will Daniel falter, or will his unshakable faith see him through a night in the pit? King Darius sees something different in Daniel, a spirit of excellence. Unlike the corrupt men around him, Daniel is loyal, wise, trustworthy. So the king decides to make him chief administrator over the entire kingdom. But jealous eyes are watching. The other officials seethe with envy. They whisper among themselves, "We'll never find fault with him, unless it's about his God." That's when they hatch a plan. They flatter the king, convincing him to sign a decree. For 30 days no one may pray to any god or any man except King Darius. Whoever disobeys will be thrown into the lion's den. The officials smirk. The trap is set. But Daniel does not hide. 3 times a day he kneels before his window, just as he always has, and prays to his God. The conspirators seize their moment. They rush to report Daniel to the king. Darius' face falls. He realizes he's been tricked. He spends the entire day searching for a way to save Daniel, but the law cannot be undone. And so, at sundown, Daniel is led to the pit. The lion's den gapes open, waiting for its prey. Above, Darius stands motionless. His voice breaks as he speaks. "May your God, whom you serve continually, deliver you." That night, the king does not sleep. At dawn, he rushes to the den. His voice is shaky, hopeful. "Daniel, has your God saved you?" Then a voice echoes from the pit. "O king, live forever. My God sent his angel and shut the lions' mouths." Darius laughs in relief. Daniel is lifted from the den, unharmed. Not a single wound is found on him. But those who conspired against him, the king commands that the officials who betrayed Daniel be thrown into the lion's den. And this time, the lions do not hesitate. Darius declares to all people, nations, and languages, Daniel's God is the living God. His kingdom shall never be destroyed. The lion's den was Daniel's final test, but his greatest visions were yet to come. Did you know that Daniel received night visions of beasts and horns, prophecies that reveal an end-time figure who wages war against the saints? Keep watching, because next we uncover Daniel's apocalyptic prophecies, visions that stretch into our future, hinting at a final clash between good and evil. A stormy sea. 4 beasts emerge, and a little horn challenges God himself. Daniel sees a vision so strange, so terrifying, it rivals Nebuchadnezzar's statue dream. Some say these beasts represent empires. Others say they point to an end-time power. One thing is certain, these visions hold secrets that resonate with the book of Revelation. Stay with me, because Daniel chapter 7 may reveal more about our future than we realize. In the dead of night, Daniel is shown a vision. A great sea churns in chaos. Then 4 beasts rise. First, a lion with eagle's wings. But then, its wings are torn off. It stands like a man. Next, a bear raised on one side. In its mouth, 3 ribs, a symbol of devouring conquest. Then, a leopard, 4 wings, 4 heads, fast, deadly, given dominion. But the final beast, iron teeth, 10 horns, more terrifying than them all. And then, something stranger. A little horn appears. It uproots 3 horns and speaks arrogantly against God. Daniel is terrified. He asks for the meaning, and an angelic figure explains these beasts are kingdoms. Many believe the lion is Babylon, the bear, Medo-Persia, the leopard, Greece, the terrifying beast, Rome. But the little horn? It is a ruler who blasphemes God and oppresses the saints. Could this little horn point to a future power, an anti-Christ-like figure? Daniel trembles at what he has seen. And then the vision takes him even higher. Suddenly, the heavens open. Daniel sees a throne, not just any throne, a throne of fire, and seated upon it, the Ancient of Days. His garment is white as snow, his hair like pure wool. Thousands upon thousands stand before him. The books are opened, judgment begins. And then a mysterious figure appears, one like a son of man. He approaches the Ancient of Days. and to him is given dominion, glory, and everlasting kingdom. This Son of Man is Jesus Christ. The beasts lose their dominion, but the saints inherit the kingdom. This prophecy looks beyond earthly kingdoms. It speaks of a final time when God wipes out every oppressive power and his kingdom reigns forever. But Daniel's visions don't stop here. There is more to unveil. Next we unravel a ram and a goat colliding in chapter 8, the puzzling prophecy of 2,300 evenings and mornings, and a prophecy so crucial, some say it pinpoints the arrival of the Messiah, the 70 weeks prophecy, a prophecy that may also hint at a last day's tribulation. Stick with me as we connect the dots between Daniel's era and the end time. A mighty ram, a swift goat, and a prophecy counting down to the Messiah. Daniel sees visions of rising empires, a power that defies God, and a timeline for redemption and judgment. What do these prophecies mean? Stay with me, because they connect ancient kingdoms to the final events of history. In a night vision, Daniel sees a beast emerge, a ram, with two horns, one taller than the other. It charges west, north, and south, unstoppable. No kingdom can stand against it. Then, suddenly, a goat appears, racing across the earth without touching the ground. On its head, a single powerful horn. With relentless force, it strikes the ram, smashing it to the ground. The goat stands victorious, but then its great horn breaks. In its place, 4 horns rise, and from one of them, a little horn emerges, growing stronger. It challenges heaven itself, stops the daily sacrifices, and defiles the sanctuary. Daniel is troubled. What does this mean? Then, Gabriel appears. The ram you saw is the kingdom of Medo-Persia. The goat is Greece. Gabriel explains, the ram, Medo-Persia, ruled by 2 kings. The goat, Greece, with its great horn, represents Alexander the Great. When Alexander dies, his empire splits into 4, and from one of these 4 rises a power that persecutes God's people. This little horn refers to Antiochus, the 4th Epiphanes, a tyrant who desecrated the temple in the 2nd century BC. But is Antiochus the final fulfillment? This prophecy also foreshadows a future power, a figure who will oppose God in the last days. But then, Daniel receives an even greater revelation. Daniel is troubled. He wraps himself in sackcloth and ashes and cries out to God, "We have sinned. We have turned from your commands. But Lord, have mercy." Then Gabriel returns. 70 weeks are determined. If each week represents 7 years, that's 490 years. It begins with a decree to restore Jerusalem. After 69 weeks, the Messiah will appear, but he will be cut off, not for himself, but for others. This clearly points to Jesus Christ, his ministry, his sacrifice, his death. And then the city and sanctuary will be destroyed. This prophecy was fulfilled in 70 AD when Rome destroyed Jerusalem. But what about the final week? Some believe it has already happened. Others believe it is yet to come. A leader makes a covenant and then breaks it. Sacrifices are halted. An abomination is set up. Is this a prophecy of a future end-time figure? One thing is certain. God has a precise timeline for redemption and judgment. History is unfolding, exactly as he has spoken. As we move to Daniel's final chapters, the visions intensify, describing conflicts between a king of the north and a king of the south, leading to a time of trouble unlike any before. Yet there's hope, a prophecy of resurrection, and the wise shining like stars. Don't miss the next section, where we uncover Daniel's final revelation. connecting his personal story to the end time in a profound way. Daniel's final visions are breathtaking. A cosmic battle rages, kings rise and fall, a time of distress unlike any before. Yet a glorious hope remains, the promise of resurrection. Stay with me, because this final prophecy connects Daniel's journey to the grand story of redemption. Daniel embarks on a 21-day fast, pleading for understanding. Days pass, silence. Then a being of light appears, his face like lightning, his eyes burning fire. Daniel trembles, falls to the ground. I had no strength left. My breath was gone. Then he touched me, and I could stand. This angelic messenger speaks of an invisible war, a conflict beyond human sight. The Prince of Persia resists him for 21 days, until Michael, the great warrior prince, intervenes. An unseen war, raging over kings and empires. Could it be that our battles on earth are only reflections of a greater war in the heavens? The angel reveals a timeline of conflict, detailing kings at war, betrayals, and alliances. The king of the north and the king of the south clash in a struggle for dominion. Eventually, a contemptible ruler rises, exalting himself above every god, desecrating the temple and persecuting the faithful. I have seen this before, the cruel reign of Antiochus Epiphanes. Yet this feels like more than history. Could this ruler return in another form? Many see Antiochus as a shadow of a greater future Antichrist, one who will repeat these patterns of persecution and sacrilege before the end. Then, in chapter 12, we read, "At that time Michael, the great prince who protects your people, will arise. There will be a time of distress such as has not happened from the beginning of nations until then. But at that time your people, everyone whose name is found written in the book, will be delivered." Then comes one of the clearest Old Testament prophecies of a future resurrection. Daniel 12 verse 2 says, "Multitudes who sleep in the dust of the earth will awake, some to everlasting life, others to shame and everlasting contempt. The wise will shine like the brightness of the heavens, those who lead many to righteousness like stars forever. Though tribulations will intensify, God's people have a destiny beyond death. The wise who stand firm in truth will shine eternally." Before leaving, the angel gives Daniel a final command. "Seal the words until the time of the end. Seal the words." But what if that time is now? What if we are closer than ever? Many believe we are, but what does that mean for us today? In the final section, we'll explore how Daniel's message strengthens faith in modern times and how to live in light of these prophecies. Don't leave yet, because final revelation is about to unfold and the last piece is about to fall into place. So why does Daniel matter now? Why should we care about an ancient prophet's visions? Maybe you've wondered, does faith still matter in a world of chaos? Can anyone stand firm when everything is shifting? Daniel's life holds answers, real, practical truths for today. Faithfulness under pressure. Daniel stood firm at the king's table in the furnace and before the lions. When values are tested, his life proves that true faith never bends. Prophecies of global empires. From Babylon to Rome, history unfolded just as foretold. But no earthly kingdom lasts forever. Only God's reign stands eternal. Patterns of persecution. The little horn rises again and again, opposing God, persecuting the faithful. But in the end, God's kingdom will belong to all who choose Him and remain true. Hope in final deliverance. Daniel 12 doesn't just warn of a time of distress, it reveals the greatest hope: deliverance, resurrection, and life beyond death. for all who put their trust in God. So this is the promise. No matter how dark the night, no matter how fierce the trial, the faithful will rise. They will shine. They will live forever. Daniel's story isn't just about knowing the future. It's about living ready. If a time of trouble lies ahead, take heart. The same God who rescued Daniel from lions and his friends from the fire will stand with his people. A life of prayer, humility, and trust isn't just good advice. It's essential. Studying His Word and standing for truth will be what sets apart the wise. And remember this: the 70 weeks prophecy pointed to the coming of the Messiah, Jesus Christ. He already overcame sin and death. For those who hold on to Him, the end time isn't just a season of terror. It's the prelude to eternal glory. From the start, we told you to stay until the end, because a mysterious prophecy could change everything you thought you knew about the future. Here's the truth: history isn't random. It's unfolding exactly as foretold. If Daniel's prophecies were right before, then what's happening right now? What if we're not just reading prophecy, we're living it? In these modern times, many are hinting at end-time prophecy, even in unexpected places like The Simpsons show. But could there be a deeper connection? A parallel to the Bible? We broke it down. The eerie similarities, the patterns, the prophecy. If you missed the video, click and watch it next.